Hello everyone, so what is Axios? Axios is a promise-based HTTP client for JavaScript. It simplifies making requests to APIs by providing a clean and straightforward syntax. Axios supports various features like transforming request and response data, automatic JSON handling, and built-in error handling. Compared to the native Fetch API, Axios is more user-friendly and easier to work with for tasks like setting headers or intercepting requests. In this tutorial, we will use Axios in a React application to demonstrate CRUD operations: create, read, update, and delete. So let's install Axios. We need to say npm install Axios. So this will add Axios to our project dependencies. Now let's start our application. Okay, so now let's import Axios from Axios. And we need to create a state that will hold our posts. So let's say posts. And make sure that you import use state from React. We will make API calls to the JSON placeholder API, which provides fake data for testing and experimenting. So let's write a function that will fetch posts. So let's talk about this code in detail. The try block is used to handle code that may throw an error. In this case, it contains the API request made using Axios. Then await Axios.get. The await keyword waits for the Axios.get request to complete. If the request succeeds, the server responds with data in JSON format, which is stored in the response object. The data from the response can be accessed by saying response.data, and then we just say set posts to that data. So after a successful API call, the fetch data is saved to the post state using the set posts function. This updates the React component state and triggers a re-render to display the data in the UI. The catch block: if the API request fails due to a network issue or server error or for other reason, the catch block captures the error. The error parameter contains details about the error, including status code, message, and so on. And then we just console log the error. So as you can see, we say Axios and then the method that we want to do. For example, if we want to get, we say get. If we want to post, we say Axios.post. The syntax will look like this. And now let's actually use this function. For that, I will say use effect. And here I will call this function. And our dependencies will be empty, so we will fetch posts every time the component loads. So let's save it. Let's also say console.log response data to actually see the data. Now I will open my browser. So as you can see, here we have an array. Let's open it. And as you can see, here we have our data. These are posts which come from JSON placeholder API, which provide this kind of data. This is how you can make requests using Axios. And now we can map over this data and display it on our page. So let's try to do it. Let's add gap between them. So as you can see, here are our posts. This is how you can get access to them and display them on the page. But the main thing is that you just write this function, you just say asynchronous, await, then you say Axios, then the method, then you provide the URL that you need, then you get back the response, and inside of that response, you can get access to the data that you need, then you can work with that data the way you want. Okay, so now let's try to work with post, put, and delete methods. So let's create a function to create our own post. So let's say create post. Here we need to say Axios.post and provide the URL. And here we need to provide our title and body. So let's try to add something hard-coded. I will just say our title, and for the body I will say our text. Okay, then I will just console.log our response, and in case of any error we can console our error as well. So I will just create a button. I will say create, and when we click this button I will just call this function. Of course you can create a form, but just for the sake of this tutorial, to save your time, I will just write here something hard-coded. So let's test it. So now I will click this button, and as you can see we have our data, and here inside of this data property we have our text, the ID of our post, and the title. But keep in mind that the resource will not be really updated on the server, but it will be faked as if. If you don't want to see this config, these headers, request, and so on, you can come here and say data. Now let's say something different. So let's say 1 and 1 again. So let's save it and test one more time. So now I will click this button one more time. And as you can see, here we have our title, our body, and ID is still 101 because on the server we don't make any updates. It is just for testing. Now let's try to do deleting and updating. So let's create a function for that. Update post. And here we need to write an ID of a post that we want to update. So I want to update the first post, okay? And then let's say updated title. And for the body, let's say updated body. Then I want to console log our response. I will say response.data. And in case of any error, I also want to console log it. So again, I will create a button. So I will say update, and on click, I need to call this function. Let's try it out. I will click this update button. And as you can see, we have our title, updated title, and we have our body, updated body. So now let's try to implement that delete functionality. It will be almost exactly the same. I just need to copy this function, paste it here. I need to say delete post. Here I also need to say delete. Here let's say we want to delete the 23rd post, and we don't need to provide anything here. Okay. And again, we want to console log our response, and we need to call this function somewhere. So let's do it. I'll create a button. So let's try it out. So now I will click this delete button. And as you can see, we have this empty object. The thing is that JSON placeholder API doesn't provide any output when we delete a post. Okay, so that's it guys. Now you know how to do CRUD operations using Axios. It's a really powerful tool that every React developer should know. So thank you for watching this video. If you find this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more useful videos. Thank you.